In this third video of the second part of the series The Evidence, we will discuss the biblical signs of the Great Tribulation. Various prophecies will be interpreted on the basis of which, in the second part, we will try to understand what the Great Tribulation will be like. First part. Prophetic indications before the Great Tribulation. Matthew 24:34. This generation will by no means pass away, till all these things take place. A generation lasts 20 to 30 years on average. The events described in the previous video, which talks about the pre-tribulation, cover a period of about 7 years, plus another 7 years are those of the Great Tribulation. Based on these times, the generation that sees these events today will not pass away until the end comes. Matthew 24:36. But of that day and hour no one knows. Obviously, Jesus' words were for his time. For our time, however, the prophecy in Daniel 12:4 is valid. But you, Daniel, shut up the words, and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Knowledge of the Bible has increased in recent decades. We are partly understanding the book of Revelation, that for thousands of years has remained a mystery. Even the prophecies of the prophets, and especially those of Daniel, have been understood. Many pastors and prelates today confirm that we are at the end of time. Matthew 24:37. It will be like in the days of Noah. Matthew 24:37-38. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. In the days of Noah, no one expected what would happen. Everyone continued to live their lives as normal. At that time, Noah preached, but no one listened to him. When the flood came, God closed the door of the ark, no one could enter. Today the same will happen. When desperate people cry out, "Lord, Lord," Jesus will answer, "I never knew you." Then 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and the other left. Jesus also describes how the majority of people will die, suddenly, while doing ordinary things. Sudden deaths are one of the terrible phenomena that are happening these days. Matthew 24:45. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his master made ruler over his household, to give them food in due season? Jesus predicts that there will be a time, and it is today, when there will be Bible scholars who will understand the prophecies and give them as spiritual food to all Christians. They are realizing, through their studies, that the time is near. But there will also be some who think that Jesus is late, or it is not his time and they are not interested in the prophecies. For this reason Jesus says that a day will come, that they do not expect, and he will punish them. Christianity is mostly made up of pastors who do not believe in the coming of the Messiah, and, if they talk about it, they talk about it in a superficial way. Matthew 25:1-13, the parable of the 10 virgins. The parable of the 10 virgins comes right after the discreet servant. In fact, they are paired. Matthew 25:1-12. Then the kingdom of heaven will be likened to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them, but the wise ones took oil in flasks with their lamps. And at midnight a cry was made, "Behold, the bridegroom comes. Go out to meet him." The 10 virgins are all the Christians on earth. The number 5 is not half of them, but rather it is the number associated with balance and mercy. The person who shouts are the discreet servants who understand that Jesus is coming and is warning them. Obviously all Christians want to meet him. But the foolish ones who do not have the oil, the knowledge, think they will meet him in heaven because they believe in wrong teachings and live by instincts. The wise Christians instead prepare themselves because they know that there will be very hard times. When the foolish ones realize that they are not going to heaven, then they will ask for help from the wise ones, but the latter will not be able to help them. Jesus himself condemns them and says that he never knew them. Matthew 25, 1-13. Keep watch. Matthew 25:13. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Jesus often repeats one thing to Christians: watch, be ready. It means that one day, when everything seems to be going well in the world, but it will be a lie, someone will shout to us, Jesus is coming back. The smart Christian knows that he will have to flee to the mountains. The foolish Christian instead will not take those words to heart and will not prepare. This will cost them their lives. Second part. Events of the Great Tribulation. First sign. Powers of the heavens will be shaken. Matthew 24:29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. In the first part of the series The Evidence, it is explained that a supernova will explode soon. The date of the explosion coincides with the 2000 years since the death of Jesus. This, unlike what astronomers say, will bring destruction to the entire earth. Jesus said, the powers of the heavens will be shaken, and in fact a supernova will shake the entire solar system including the sun. Second sign. The sign of the Son of Man. Matthew 24:30. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. The sign is the supernova that will cause, a few months after the explosion, the darkening of the sky. The word, they will see, in ancient Greek, is metaphorical. It means they will see with the mind or they will perceive. The star will be perfectly visible in both the northern and southern hemispheres. The words of Revelation 1:7 will come true. Behold, he is coming with clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him. And all the tribes of the earth will mourn because of him. Even so, Amen. Third sign. The elect gathered. Matthew 24:31. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Revelation 6:11. Then a white robe was given to each of them, and it was said to them that they should rest a little while longer, until both the number of their fellow servants and their brethren, who would be killed as they were, was completed. These passages make us understand that both the choice of the saints, and the choice of those who will survive, will probably be made before the beginning of the Great Tribulation. The word number, in Revelation 6:11 is not reported in the original Greek text. This means that the number of the servants is not known, while that of the saints is known, 144,000. The saints who will be on earth before the Great Tribulation will be taken to heaven. Fourth sign. Great Tribulation. The destruction will be of such magnitude that we will all be alone with ourselves. There will be no daylight, it will always be dark, the streets deserted, lit by dim lights, and deep noises in the distance. Destruction and death will always be lurking. Over time the air will become unbreathable, the water supply will be poisoned, and there will be no food for months. Then the last power plants will also be turned off, bringing complete darkness. These events will follow one another with periods of relative calm for at least 7 years. Probably after about 3 years there will be the most terrible eruption. In these conditions, for years, no one will be able to save themselves. But we have hope from the words of Jesus, confirmed by astronomical calculations. Fifth sign. Shortened days. Matthew 24:22. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved, but for the elect's sake those days will be shortened. As described in the first part of the series The Evidence, a supernova at a distance of 400 to 600 light years is very dangerous for life. Due to the enormous volcanic eruptions, the ash can block the sunlight for many years. In those conditions without food, with poisoned water, and freezing temperatures, no one would survive. From April 2030, the planet Jupiter will be positioned right between the supernova and the Earth, protecting it from harmful radiation. Jesus' prophecy comes true, because the Earth will not be fully affected by the lethal cosmic radiation. This will allow many to be saved. As explained in video number 6 of the series The Evidence, the planet Jupiter, starting from December 2029, will begin to position itself between the Earth and the supernova. The planet's strong magnetic field will attenuate the last and most intense and lethal group of cosmic rays. The world after the Great Tribulation. A new world. Whoever survives, after about 7 years, will find themselves in an empty and destroyed world. But there will be calm, the worst is over. There will be no more governments or people telling us what to do, or giving us orders, or setting borders. Everything will be fully in our hands and we will fully enjoy the work of our hands. Revelation 21 3-4. Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them and be their God. And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes, there shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. They will surely be years of joy, where each day will be better than the previous one. A way of peace explained well with illustrations by the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah 11:6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. Today we are living in difficult and strange times, where the media makes us believe that everything is fine, but in reality we are on the edge of a precipice. This is why Jesus warns us, many times, to be careful because what will happen will be a great tribulation, such as has not been from the beginning of the world until now. With this 10th video of the series The Evidence, we have seen what is happening, what will happen, and reminds us that we must prepare ourselves. The entire series of videos The Evidence has a very specific final purpose. To fully understand the latest clips, it is necessary to listen to the previous ones. In practice, it is a path that will lead the visitor to take note of future events and take the appropriate steps. So we invite you to follow the last video of the series The Evidence entitled, Conclusions and Warnings.